Good day, casters and masters. This is McGoy from toomuchgaming. Join us as we attempt to fix the chronological singularities by taking a look at the EXQ figure of the stone-eyed girl who bears destiny. Coming in a pretty sizable box, the figure is encased with an additional internal box, and it's easy to get out. Stored in a single yet segmented plastic bag is the figure itself, a large black and purple scythe, a black chain, and the display base. Assembly is simple enough, but I would have liked the addition of some sort of instruction sheet as I fumbled a little on getting the hands to hold the weapons and figuring out how the chain attaches to the scythe itself. Nothing complex, I was just worried if I was doing anything wrong throughout the entire process. Sculpting and paintwork are pretty darn good given the size and relatively cheap price of the figure. It doesn't do anything extremely amazing, but the clean applications, consistent finish, and metallic highlights where needed make for an overall premium look. At about 8.5 inches in height, it's a pretty imposing display piece on a desk or shelf. The EXQ Medusa-chan figure by Banpresto is a pretty big old statue, standing at roughly around a little over 8 inches in height. This is a big girl, even though she's supposed to be a child in this particular form. The feet connections look thin, and the weight distribution seems a little bit off, but actually on the base it seems to hold up pretty well. The base is incredibly hollow, so all the weight is kind of up here, but once you plop everything down, it's like the surface area covered by the base is pretty stable, so I think you're good there. Just don't knock it about. When it comes to how she holds her accessories, I was expecting the scythe to come apart, but no, she just actually grips it much like how an action figure would grip its accessories. So while it initially seems a bit loose, I believe the plastic on the hand will eventually, once you pry it open, stick the scythe in, it'll eventually wedge itself closed, just to retain its shape. And then she has a pretty firm grip on it. I'm wiggling her and the scythe isn't swinging about anymore. And because of the nature of how she holds the scythe, you actually have the freedom to move it about and kind of pose it in any way you wish. You want it to be on the box, swing like that, or you can have the blade point a bit upwards and all that. And same goes for the chain here in the back. Her hand actually is meant, as far as I could tell, it's meant to hold the chain, and it's not the shape of the chain is kind of like this, so it's not posable or anything, but I believe following the box, she's meant to hold it in that way and then have the end of the chain swing a little forward in front of her leg. Or you can have it go to the back of the leg, you could omit the chain completely from the scythe if you just don't attach it, which I wish this came with instruction manuals to show you the exact method that they wished for you to display the figure. But yeah, painting on this is absolutely gorgeous. Though, looking over in here, you can see there's a big old seam line and the paint's a little sloppy, but unless you like look at it up close. Everything outside of that, like actually even underneath the cape right there with the silverback armor, everything up front and around, everything like external on the figure, all the external bits you can see is done really, really nicely. And she's so big, I need to push her so far from the camera just to get her in frame. The hair is nice. Like, I wish there was kind of a different sheen on some of the parts, but what you get is really nice. It is a bit weird how the base doesn't super connect as snugly as I would like. I wish it had bigger pegs. It is a little scary given how thin they are, and yeah, like an instruction manual showing where exactly everything goes would actually be appreciated. But yeah, like I said, like the face is done really cleanly. Most of the body, sans those like side parts over here, is pretty clean. Like I said, all the parts you see on the outside are done superbly well. I would have liked maybe a more pearlescent sheen on the stockings just to make them pop out more, but I guess the consistency of the flat finish, I mean the armor does have sort of a semi-metallic gloss on it, not completely shiny, but like I said, it's done really well. The scythe, like the black part, is done in a glossy plastic. The purple parts I believe are painted, so they're a bit more matte. The chain is, I believe, just raw plastic. Since it's raw plastic, I don't think it's gonna rub off the black parts on the thigh piece, on the shin leggings. So, but if you're worried about that, you can just do this and just have it dangle in the back. I think it actually looks a bit cooler that way. But yeah, like I said, she's a big girl. Here she is next to a 1:144 scale entry grade RX-78, which is, I believe, in scale with every other RX-78 high grade out there. Look! She's huge! Compared to this little dinky man. So, I measured her at around 8.10 inches-ish. Over 21 cm, I believe, if I'm doing my math right. Tall girl. Nice display. It does kind of eat up a lot of space on the back because of the scythe and all that, but yeah, like, very, very cool. Let's get you Gundam out of there. Very nice display piece.
The scythe fits into her right hand much like an action figure holds a weapon. You sort of just jam it in while prying the fingers apart. It may seem a bit loose at first, but the fingers will slowly bend back to their original shape, making for a tighter grip. There aren't any particular grooves or slots on the scythe to denote where the figure is supposed to hold the weapon. I more or less used the production photos on the box as a reference. The chain clips to the bottom of the scythe by wedging itself in and aligning the hole on the end link to secure its connection. The chain can then be held by Anna's left hand to prevent it from freely swinging around. Getting the left hand to hold said chain is a little awkward due to the large sleeve and awkward angle. Again, there are no grooves or slots on either part to denote where the figure is supposed to grip, so feel free to adjust the chain to your liking. Since the accessories don't have a fixed point on where they're supposed to be held, this sort of allows for extra freedom when it comes to displaying the figure. You can angle the blade of the scythe in any which way, and can even have it held in a reverse grip if you so choose. The only gripe I have with this figure are some glaring seam lines found on the side of her torso. Granted, these aren't particularly noticeable due to the cloak covering most of her upper body, but once you do see them, they aren't a pretty sight. Not only are the seam lines huge and rough, but the paintwork on those particular parts aren't great either. I've looked up other reviews on this figure and this appears to be a consistent issue. Possible cost-cutting measures when it comes to the production of the figure. It isn't a deal breaker by any means, just a little disappointing to see given how clean the rest of the figure looks. Priced at only around 950 Philippine pesos, this is a solid figure for your collection. If you'd like to purchase one for yourself or for a friend, head on over to greattoysonline.com to find great prices on great toys.